Running over the winter is tough. Weather like this, variables like wind, rain, cold, make it difficult to build momentum. So in today's video, we're going to talk about all the things that you can do to reduce friction and improve your running this winter. Very snowy and cool.
Good morning and welcome to the Pentland Hills Regional Park in some very wintry weather. It is snowing, it is settling, and we are currently at just above sea level, kind of, but we're not very high up, but we're about to go very high up because we have a 15k easy run today. I've got my brother Jamie and I've got a friend of mine, Scott, with us for the ride. And along the way, we're going to be talking about how you can improve your running this winter, starting with the importance of placing adventure over metrics. And this is very much my opinion, but I think it is much, much easier to focus on metric-based training in terms of performance, in terms of 5Ks, 10Ks over the summer. Whereas over the winter, because of the elements, because of the variables at play, because you might go out for a tempo run and it's icy, it's more difficult to build momentum with anything that's particularly performance metric based. So if you can reframe this period of time as an opportunity to feel that sort of apprehensive sense of adventure that I'm currently feeling, sat here in the car, looking out at the elements, wishing that I was just indoors on a treadmill. So reflect on what you've got available to you nearby, or maybe within an hour, within an hour and a half. And if you've got a long run at the weekend, you've got a big aerobic session, then maybe try and reframe it as an opportunity for a bit of an adventure and let the metrics be the secondary priority over the winter so that they can be the primary priority over the spring, summer, autumn, etc. I think unfortunately it's time to get outside. Okay, so the next important thing to consider so that you can make the most of your running over the winter and not find yourself in that sort of drudgery of wondering where all your stuff is be on top of your kit management. So whilst I am using a convenience store bag as my transport method for said kit today, and that's not the most official thing in the world, I know everything that's in here. So what I am going to do is get all of my bags packed, even with some micro spikes today because this is not the rain forecast suggested. But what you want to make sure is that in your household, in your office, whatever it might be, that you are on top of your kit management over the winter. Because if you're scrambling around the morning of a long run, not knowing where your gloves are, not knowing where your beanie is, not knowing where your head torch is, it's going to make it incredibly difficult to get out the door. What you want to be thinking about is removing friction at every opportunity you possibly can to make your life as easy as possible amidst the more challenging period of the year. More kit is needed, higher turnover of laundry, washing, etc. is needed, so don't make your life even more difficult by losing control of that process. Okay, and ready to go. In honesty, I've had my hands out of my gloves for way too long and I've probably already ruined my day, but that reinforces the importance of kit management and, more importantly, putting it on time. We're going to head up this way into what I can only imagine is more aggressive snow.
Okay, we've taken some shelter from what is rather remarkable and very on-brand weather. These woods here are giving me a bit of shelter from the wind, but I hope you can hear me. The lovely sweeping drone shots I had planned for your viewing pleasure today are not happening, but the next important thing to consider is the importance of socializing throughout this period of time. The whole social media, winter rog, lock in, head down, disregard females, acquire financial gains, etc. stuff that's circulating on social media now, I think has a time and a place, but when you're trying to get your head down and build momentum with your training towards goals in the spring, the summer, you're trying to get things achieved over the winter, if you're wanting to improve your running, one of the best ways to hold yourself accountable is by having other people to do so. We're out on an adventure today, as discussed. It's suddenly feeling very adventurous amidst the cold, the wind and the snow. But you know what? The easiest way to show up and do your training without friction is to make sure that you're setting up your goals, your systems, your structures day to day, week to week, with people, with kit, with goals, etc. so that you can enjoy it. Because if you're not enjoying it, what's the point? Okay, hopefully you can hear me through the wind, but no time like the present to really reinforce the importance of safety. All the variables I've mentioned that can be really valuable if we use them to build resilience and tackle them head on, but we need to make sure that we're being sensible, we're approaching things with caution. Made a bit of a joke earlier about carrying my micro spikes with me, but I might need them. And whilst yes, I'm in the sort of harshness of Scotland here, you might have things in an urban environment. You might be in Canada where it's minus 40 degrees Celsius. So safety is paramount. Make sure you've got the right kit. Make sure you're being sensible. Make sure you've got the knowledge to know what decisions to make. Make sure somebody knows where you are. Make sure you've got some sort of GPS or location settings. Don't let the sort of oorah, Goggins, bro, head down, crack on, yeah! Don't let that get in the way of the importance of just being sensible, being safe, because the most sustainable way to make gains as an athlete is by not slipping off the side of a mountain. A rather drastic change of scenery and drastic change in facial hair, in fact, as I'm out making up a little bit of volume that I couldn't manage over the weekend as a result of the snow. So the next thing that we should consider is the importance of clear goals, which might be a little bit contrary to the whole adventure over metrics point, but I think the most important thing is when it's dark, when it's cold, when it's miserable, and you don't want to get out of bed, you need a reason to do so. So it doesn't need to be sub 3 marathon, sub 20 this, 40 that. It can simply be a volume goal, or an amount of runs per week, or an amount of times that you connect with some of your friends over a run per week, or going to a run club, whatever it might be. The important thing to do is to set clear parameters that you can hold yourself accountable to, so that you have a reason to get out of bed when it is easier to not do so. So for me, it's all about hitting 3 runs a week at the moment as I'm recovering from injury a little bit. For you, it might be simply hitting 30, 40, 50 kilometers a week, whatever it may be. It might be making sure that you get to the gym and run on the treadmill for 3 times a week. Don't go into each week without a plan. Make sure that you know what you're doing. Make sure that you know what you're aiming to achieve, so that when you're lying in bed all toasty and warm, you choose to get out of it rather than skipping that run.
Recovery. A buzzword, yes, but one that underpins every point made in this video today. The foundations of recovery in simple terms are sleep, hydration, nutrition, and sensible programming. All of the ice bath, Normatec boots stuff only becomes justifiable for recovery once you have all of those things nailed, which even I don't. Tracking your sleep really helps, and in my opinion, if you can, having a consistent sleep and wake pattern makes a huge difference. I use Whoop to track my sleep, my lifestyle habits, and my daily activity, so that I can use the reporting to make informed decisions on what to adjust. Journal feature, sleep tracking, activity tracking, and even the step count will collate patterns and information that we can use to recover better. If you don't take action on the data presented to you, then Whoop will have no utility. Much like the 150 kilo Atlas stone we have in our gym that no one can lift. But if you're ready to make some informed changes to impact your recovery, then use the link in the description down below to access Whoop's cyber sale and support the channel in doing so. And if you're the former, remember that you can't ice bath your way out of being underslept, underfed, or overtrained. So maybe it's time to take action and track the data.
We're finally out of the wind, and I think we've unanimously agreed that whilst from a training point of view that has not gone the way that we'd hoped, we've all had an absolute blast, which I think really reinforces the points that I've been trying to make. Getting battered around by the elements is really quite invigorating, but the hard part is braving them, and that's what the wintering's all about. So hard! I hit my arse so hard. Oh, that's not fresh powder. That's just a rock covered in a light dusting of snow. I'm a man of mischief today. final point today, I'm going to roll 2 points into one and talk about adaptability and lifestyle habits, and how over this period of time we might be inundated with habits we're going to try, hacks we're going to utilize, social media things suggested to us that we might think we need to implement tomorrow, otherwise we're not working hard enough. When in reality, the most effective skill we can develop over the winter to apply to day-to-day life and to get us through the winter is having the ability to adapt and to not punish yourself for having to change the plan. A phrase that, especially with my own mental health over the years, has been really important for me is that I control the plan does not control me. Because I can often forget that I set these 6 to 8 week goals, plans and structures for a set of circumstances that may then evolve, may then change, yet I hold myself rigorously to the plan rather than doing the right thing, which is adapting to the new set of circumstances. And I think that's where we can be our own worst enemy. So it's important to develop lifestyle habits, structures and systems to allow ourselves to adapt so that we can pivot if needs be. Take my run in the hills in the snow, for example. We didn't get as much volume as we hoped, which is why things like treadmills, things like cross training, things like turbo trainers, having those in our arsenal to be able to utilize to keep momentum moving forwards rather than just saying, oh, the winter wins today, is a really important thing to utilize. Beyond that, it's things like consistent circadian rhythm, sleep and wake times, managing caffeine, managing nutrition, all of the obvious stuff, just to keep us in control of the things that we can control. It's very, very easy to have our emotions spike when it's dark at 4:30 in the afternoon, like it is here in the UK. So the more tools in our toolbox that we can proverbially have around ourselves that we can utilize to adapt when ultimately the winter punches us square in the face, which it will, the more able we'll be able to tolerate the adversity of it and keep building momentum and keep improving our running so that we can enter the spring and the summer with a fantastic base, with a really good set of principles, values, habits and structures that keep us moving forwards towards the goals that I'm sure are important to you if you're watching this video, especially if you've made it to this point in the video. So that is a prescriptive overview from my perspective on how we can improve our running this winter within the context of what we can control. You might notice that I haven't given you reps and sets, I haven't given you targets to hit. I've just given some things to consider, some food for thought, so that you can maybe take a little bit more control of the season, so that you can enjoy it, so that you can utilize it, so that you can leverage it for gains come spring or summer. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, comment with your thoughts, feelings, suggestions, and or winter tips and tricks below. Make sure that you've hit subscribe and ding that little bell icon so you don't miss any more of the wintering as we go. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. If anyone's wondering, Jamie is a former professional cricketer, so I'm just wanting to see if he can, from relatively short range, hit that sign just there. That was the worst yet. The funny thing is, I can see on Jamie's face he's got a sore shoulder because he's so cold, but I can also see that he's not going to leave until he's hit that sign. Evidence. Anyone in the UK that drinks Guinness, splitting the G, forget that. Let's split the S on Glencore. I see what happened there. I became the target. Yes, yes, yes.